What if one narrow strip of land stacked four worlds back to back? Snowy pine peaks, cactus deserts, volcanoes, and whale nurseries all at once. From volcanic heat to deserts that bloom and caves painted by ancient hands, Baja California may look simple on a map, but it's one of the most extreme and unpredictable places on Earth. Here are 25 mind-blowing facts that prove why Baja is unlike anywhere else on the planet. Part 25. The peninsula that looks like a map glitch. Baja California is the second longest and one of the skinniest peninsulas in the world, stretches over 1,200 kilometers or 746 miles, and stays shockingly narrow for most of its length. It hugs Mexico's western edge like a crooked finger pointing into the Pacific Ocean. At some points, the peninsula is so thin you can drive from the Pacific Ocean to the Sea of Cortez in under 2 hours. That means you could watch the sunrise on one coast and the sunset on the other on the same day. Despite its slim shape, Baja California packs deserts, mountains, whale nurseries, and wine regions into one long strip of land. But this long, narrow land didn't start as a peninsula. Its story actually began by tearing itself apart. Part 24. Mexico's slowly drifting peninsula. Baja California is literally being pulled away from mainland Mexico, and it's been happening for millions of years. Around 6 to 9 million years ago, powerful tectonic forces began pulling the peninsula apart from the mainland, slowly opening what we now call the Gulf of California or Sea of Cortez. This ongoing rift pushes Baja northwest by about 4 to 5 centimeters or about 2 inches every year, riding the Pacific plate like a slow-motion conveyor belt. Over time, this movement reshaped the coastline, created deep ocean trenches, and turned the region into one of the most biologically rich seas on Earth. What looks like a peaceful peninsula is actually a massive continental breakup in progress. And one day, Baja could end up fully separated from mainland Mexico, becoming an island of its own. And when that new sea formed, it didn't arrive alone. It opened the door for one of nature's greatest migrations. Part 23. Gray whale's epic 12,000-mile Baja journey. Imagine swimming halfway around the planet while pregnant just to give birth. That's the annual ritual of the gray whale in the Sea of Cortez, turning it into one of Earth's greatest marine migration hubs. Every winter, over 10,000 gray whales complete one of the longest migrations of any mammal, traveling nearly 12,000 miles round trip from the icy Arctic to the warm, shallow lagoons of Baja California. These calm, protected waters are where mother whales give birth and teach their calves to survive before the long journey back north. The lagoons are so peaceful that whales often approach boats, earning Baja the nickname the whale nursery of the world. This isn't just a migration, it's a yearly oceanic reunion written into their biology. And beneath those same waters, something even stranger is happening far below the surface. Part 22. Cabo's underwater sandfalls. Off the coast of Cabo San Lucas, something surreal happens beneath the surface. Massive underwater sandfalls pour endlessly into the deep. Now, these aren't real waterfalls made of water. They're created when powerful ocean currents drag huge amounts of sand off steep underwater slopes, forming cascading clouds that look like golden rivers sinking into the abyss. I mean, some of these sandfalls plunge thousands of feet, disappearing into pitch-black depths no diver could ever safely reach. What makes it even stranger is that you'd never guess they exist from above. The sea looks calm and ordinary, hiding one of Earth's most dramatic underwater spectacles. And from underwater mysteries, the story rises back onto land, where fire still sleeps beneath the desert. Part 21. Las Tres Virgenes, triple volcano skyline. 3 volcanoes, 1 desert skyline, and a past far more explosive than it looks. Rising from the desert of Baja California Sur, Las Tres Virgenes is the peninsula's most dramatic trio of volcanoes that looks frozen in time, but it's very much alive beneath the surface. This volcanic complex includes El Viejo, the oldest, El Azufre, the middle, and La Virgen, the youngest, formed through repeated eruptions over thousands of years. And here's what makes it unsettling. Even though the landscape looks frozen in time, the region is still considered geologically active. Scientists even study it for its renewable energy potential. What looks like a quiet desert backdrop is actually a reminder that Baja's land is still alive, shaped by fire, pressure, and time. But not all of Baja's secrets burn. Some were carved silently by time itself. Part 20. The Mysterious Stone Forests. Hidden deep in Baja's interior deserts near the Cataviña region inside the Valle de los Cirios lie massive stone formations that look less like natural rock and more like something deliberately sculpted. Towering pillars, twisted spires, and razor-sharp ridges rise from the sand, earning this place the nickname the Stone Forest. These formations weren't carved by humans. They're the exposed bones of ancient granite, cracked by time and then sculpted by weathering, especially salt crystallizing in tiny pores and fractures. Locals believe these stone fields once served as ancient navigation markers or ruins from a forgotten world. But the real explanation is even crazier. This is geology doing art with nothing but wind, salt, and time. And just when the land seems lifeless, the sea proves otherwise, and a comeback no one expected. Part 19. Cabo Pulmo's Reef Miracle. Once declared dead, this reef pulled off one of the greatest comebacks in ocean history. Cabo Pulmo, a tiny fishing village on Baja's Sea of Cortez coast, was once surrounded by an overfished, lifeless reef. By the 1990s, the ecosystem was collapsing until the locals made a radical decision. They banned all fishing and turned the area into a fully protected marine reserve. What happened next shocked scientists. Within just a decade, fish biomass increased by over 460%, making it one of the most successful marine recoveries ever recorded. Sharks returned. Turtles multiplied. Massive schools of fish reappeared like a living storm. Today, Cabo Pulmo is proof that nature can rebound fast when humans step back. It's not just a reef revival. It's one of the greatest conservation miracles on Earth. That revival is only possible because Baja's shape itself reshaped an entire nation. Part 18. The peninsula that supercharged Mexico's coastline. Mexico isn't defined by its land. It's defined by its coastline. Because of the massive Baja California peninsula, Mexico has one of the longest coastlines in the world. The peninsula alone adds about 2,230 kilometers or 1,386 miles of coastline, roughly 22% of Mexico's total. It gives Mexico access to two completely different marine worlds, the wild Pacific on one side and the calm, life-rich Sea of Cortez on the other. This unique geography shapes everything: fishing, trade, biodiversity, even climate. From rugged cliffs and desert shores to mangroves and coral reefs, Mexico's identity is inseparable from its coasts. It's not just a country with beaches. It's a nation shaped, protected, and powered by the sea. And along those powerful coastlines, something ancient and terrifying still patrols the deep. Part 17. Guadalupe Island, Baja's ghost white shark hotspot. Out here, the ocean doesn't feel empty. It feels watched. Off the coast of Baja California lies one of the world's most mysterious predator hotspots, Guadalupe Island, famous for its ghost white great sharks. Here, massive great white sharks gather in unusually high numbers, and in the island's crystal clear blue water, their white undersides can look almost glowing as they rise out of the deep like ghosts. Scientists believe the cold, clear waters and rich seal populations make this area a perfect hunting hotspot and possible mating site. Divers in steel cages have reported seeing dozens of these giants circling silently below, emerging from the blue without warning. Some reach over 20 feet long, moving with eerie calm and precision. It's one of the only places on Earth where you can get a surreal front row seat to a true apex predator. Yet, nearby, the same water supports something far more industrial and just as massive. Part 16. Baja's Giant Saltworks. In the middle of the desert, Baja hides one of the largest salt factories on Earth. Stretching across the remote coast near Guerrero Negro lies the world's biggest saltworks, producing millions of tons of sea salt every year. Here, seawater is trapped in massive shallow ponds and left under the blazing sun to slowly evaporate. What's left behind is pure white salt, harvested on an industrial scale so vast it's visible from space. NASA reports workers extract around 9 million metric tons of salt each year. The operation supplies salt to countries across Asia, North America, and beyond. And what makes it even more surprising is its location. Right beside one of the most important whale breeding lagoons on Earth, Laguna Ojo de Liebre. This surreal contrast of industry and wildlife makes Baja's salt flats one of the most unexpected landscapes on the planet. Then move inland, and the desert flips the script once again. Part 15. The desert that blooms with almost no rain. A desert that barely gets rain, yet it explodes with life. The Vizcaíno Desert in central Baja California looks dead quiet for most of the year, but after rare seasonal rains, it transforms into a living carpet of color. This region receives only about 5 centimeters or 2 inches of rainfall a year, putting it among one of the driest places in North America. Then, when a rare good rain season hits, seeds that have lain dormant for years, sometimes decades, suddenly just wake up. Within days, the desert bursts into wildflowers while cardón cacti bloom, and the land turns shockingly green. This phenomenon, known as a desert bloom, supports rare species found nowhere else on Earth. The Vizcaíno proves that even the harshest landscapes are just waiting for the right moment to come alive. And when they do, the transformation is nothing short of magical. Up next, even the mountains control the weather itself. Part 14. Picacho del Diablo and the mountain wall that splits the weather. One mountain in Baja literally splits the weather in two. High in the Sierra de San Pedro Martir, Picacho del Diablo rises at 3,096 meters or 10,157 feet, making it the highest peak on the Baja California peninsula, and acts like a natural climate wall. On one side, moist air from the Pacific Ocean rises, cools, and drops rain, feeding pine forest and cooler temperatures. On the other side, that same air descends dry and warm, creating harsh desert conditions. And you know the result? Two completely different worlds separated by a single mountain range. This dramatic elevation shift allows snow to fall near the summit in winter, while scorching desert heat dominates just miles away. Picacho del Diablo doesn't just shape the landscape, it controls weather, ecosystems, and life itself across northern Baja. And from those extreme climates rise giants that grow at nature's slowest pace. Part 13. Baja's Colossal Cactus. This cactus doesn't just grow, it dominates the desert skyline. The cardón cactus, found across Baja California and the Gulf region, is the largest cactus species on Earth, towering over 19 meters or 60 feet tall and living for more than 300 years. Unlike typical cacti, the cardón grows massive branching arms that resemble a forest frozen in time. Some are so wide that birds nest inside them, and entire ecosystems depend on their shade, moisture, and fruit. During rare rainy seasons, these giants burst into bloom, covering the desert with pale flowers that feed bats, birds, and insects. What makes the cardón even more astonishing is its patience. It can take decades just to grow its first arm. In Baja's harsh climate, survival isn't about speed, it's about endurance. Some plants grow tall, others grow strange enough to look totally unreal. Part 12. Baja's bizarre Boojum trees. Baja is home to some plants that look like they came from another planet. The Boojum tree, found only in the deserts of Baja California, it's one of the strangest succulents on Earth. Its tall, twisted, finger-like trunk can reach about 15 meters or 50 feet, tapering to spindly branches that seem to defy gravity. During the rare rainy seasons, it sprouts tiny leaves and delicate yellow flowers, adding a surreal touch to the otherwise barren landscape. Scientists still debate how it evolved to survive in such extreme arid conditions. Seen from a distance, Boojum trees look like alien sentinels guarding the desert. Combined with Baja's other bizarre cacti, they make the peninsula a living gallery of nature's weirdest designs, proving that survival in the harshest climates sparks the most extraordinary creativity. Up next, not all changes are natural. Some are the result of human hands. Part 11. The Colorado River Delta that disappeared. Once a lush estuary, now a riverbed frozen in time. The Colorado River Delta, which used to feed wetlands at Baja California's northern tip, has mostly dried up after decades of upstream water diversion. What was once a delta of 3,000 square miles and thriving habitat for migratory birds, fish, and other wildlife is now a patchwork of desert and salt flats. Seasonal floods are rare, and much of the historic delta ecosystem has vanished. Despite this, remnants of the delta still support pockets of life, and conservationists are working to restore some of its wetlands. The delta is proof that humans can reshape entire landscapes, and nature's miracles can vanish almost overnight if we're not careful. Part 10. San Isidro, Earth's busiest border corridor. This isn't just a border crossing, it's a human river. The San Isidro port of entry linking Tijuana and San Diego is the world's busiest border crossing, where millions pass through every year. It handles an astonishing hundreds of thousands of people daily, making it the busiest land border on Earth. Zoom out and the numbers get even crazier. In 2024, San Isidro handled almost 14.9 million cars entering the US from Mexico. And in 2023, it saw over 6.8 million incoming pedestrian crossings from Mexico. Commuters, shoppers, tourists, and truck drivers all squeeze through lanes of concrete, metal, and checkpoints in a constant human tide. Cars, buses, and pedestrians line up for hours, creating a non-stop flow of movement between the two nations. It's not just a crossing point, it's a cultural and economic lifeline, fueling trade, tourism, and daily life on both sides. And beyond the crowds, the sea hides one of Earth's rarest survivors. Part 9. The rarest marine mammal on Earth. Baja is home to a creature so rare it teeters on the edge of existence. The vaquita, a tiny porpoise found only in the northern Gulf of California, is the world's most endangered marine mammal, with fewer than 10 remaining. These tiny porpoises are shy, elusive, and almost ghost-like, making them incredibly hard to study. Illegal fishing using gill nets has pushed them to the brink, threatening to wipe them out entirely. Conservationists are racing against time, setting up protected zones and rescue operations to prevent extinction. The vaquita is a brutal reminder of how fragile ecosystems can actually be, even in a place as wild and vast as Baja. Protecting them is about more than just saving a species. It's about preserving the balance of the entire sea. And beneath that fragile ecosystem, something far more powerful simmers below. Part 8. Baja's frozen magma backbone. Baja's spine isn't made of bone, it's made of fire. Most of the peninsula's mountain backbone is built from the peninsular range's batholith, massive bodies of magma that cooled deep underground into granite-like rock, then got lifted and carved into today's rugged ranges. And Baja didn't stop there. In different eras, this underground network of molten rock has fueled eruptions, forming volcanoes like Las Tres Virgenes, and creating the rugged terrain the peninsula is famous for. It also drives geothermal activity, hot springs, and mineral deposits, making Baja a land where the Earth's heat is never too far from the surface. This fiery backbone isn't just geological trivia. It's the engine behind Baja's dramatic landscapes, rare ecosystems, and even some of its mineral wealth. The peninsula literally grows from the inside out, and when the fire fades, vast deserts stretch endlessly across the land. Part 7. Valle de los Cirios, largest desert reserve. Baja is home to a desert so vast it feels endless. The Valle de los Cirios, or Valley of the Candles Wildlife Protection Area, isn't only one of the largest desert reserves in Mexico, but also one of the most ecologically unique deserts on Earth. Covering over 25,000 square kilometers or 9,653 square miles, it shelters towering cacti, Boojum trees, desert foxes, and rare birds, all thriving in harsh, arid conditions. The reserve preserves Baja's rugged landscapes while protecting species found nowhere else on the planet. Despite its size, Valle de los Cirios remains largely untouched by humans, offering a glimpse of the peninsula's wild, primeval beauty. It's a living testament to Baja's extraordinary deserts, massive, mysterious, and alive with resilience. And even in that dryness, life finds a way, and even learns to thrive. Part 6. Valle de Guadalupe, world-class wine and desert. A place that looks too dry for grapes, making some of Mexico's most famous wine. Tucked in the hills near Ensenada, the Valle de Guadalupe turns semi-arid Baja California's northern hills into one of Mexico's premier wine regions, a desert vineyard that shouldn't work, but does. Thanks to a unique combination of clay soils, coastal breezes, and minimal rainfall, it creates a Mediterranean microclimate, where vineyards here produce grapes bursting with flavor. Boutique wineries and rustic tasting rooms dot the valley, offering everything from robust reds to crisp whites. Over the past 2 decades, Valle de Guadalupe has gained international acclaim, rivaling wines from California and Europe, producing about 80% of Mexico's wine. Baja's wine country isn't just surviving the desert, it's thriving and redefining what's possible in viticulture. Part 5. Isla Espíritu Santo. A volcanic island that grows lush forests. It sounds impossible, but Baja makes it real. Isla Espíritu Santo, just off the coast of La Paz, rises from the Sea of Cortez as a volcanic rock blanketed with unique forest and desert-adapted vegetation. Formed by ancient eruptions, its rugged terrain looks like cactus forest and desert-adapted vegetation clinging to rocky slopes, with many species evolving in isolation on islands like these. The island's cliffs drop sharply into turquoise waters, where sea lions, rays, and colorful fish thrive. Protected as a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve, Espíritu Santo is both a heaven for wildlife and a stunning example of how life can flourish on volcanic rock. This island isn't just a scenic escape, it's a living laboratory showing Baja's volcanic past and the resilience of nature in extreme environments. And long before modern life arrived, ancient hands left their mark here. Part 4. Baja's Great Murals, a gallery older than empires. Imagine walking into a gallery older than many civilizations. Hidden in the Sierra de San Francisco, Baja's great mural tradition covers rock shelters with masterpieces created thousands of years ago by ancient civilizations. These enormous murals depict humans, animals, and mysterious symbols in vivid colors that have survived millennia. The paintings aren't just art, they offer a glimpse into prehistoric life, spiritual beliefs, and the environment of ancient Baja. Archaeologists consider them some of the oldest and most sophisticated rock art in the Americas. Despite their age, the murals remain remarkably well preserved, tucked away in remote canyons. They remind us that Baja has been a canvas for human imagination long before written history began. And those ancient landscapes are still alive today, with animals that look like they're breaking the laws of physics. Part 3. Bighorn sheep make gravity look optional. These animals make gravity look like it's a suggestion. Baja California's desert bighorn sheep are master climbers, effortlessly scaling cliffs as high as 6 meters or 20 feet in a single bound. Their sure-footed agility allows them to navigate rugged terrain that would leave humans dizzy and stranded. With specially adapted hooves and incredible balance, bighorn sheep leap from ledge to ledge, escaping predators and reaching remote feeding grounds. I mean, watching them in action is like seeing living acrobats in the desert, strong, precise, and fearless. Baja's mountains aren't just scenic backdrops. They're arenas where these incredible animals showcase survival skills perfected over thousands of years. Here, nature's athletes truly rule the cliffs. Others left their stories painted in stone, waiting thousands of years to be seen. Part 2. Cueva de Palma, red ochre that refuses to fade. Deep in Baja's remote canyon country, there's a rock shelter where the walls still look alive. At Cueva de Palma, ancient artists use red ochre to paint human figures, animals, and abstract symbols, figures that have survived for thousands of years in the desert's dry air. The murals are preserved on blackened lava walls that make the red pigments almost luminous. Walking through the cave feels like entering a portal to the past, a place where time stands still and the stories of ancient peoples are frozen in color. These haunting images aren't just decorative. They were likely spiritual expressions, rituals, or records of daily life. Baja's volcanic caves hold secrets older than history itself, where art, fire, and stone combine to create something both timeless and unsettlingly alive. And above it all, the final surprise rises, a rainforest where none should exist. Part 1. Sierra de la Laguna, Sky Island Forest. A forest in the desert? Baja pulls off the impossible. High above the cactus plains of southern Baja, the Sierra de la Laguna rises like sky islands, hosting lush rainforest in the middle of arid Baja California Sur. Moisture from ocean winds condenses on these peaks, creating cool, wet forest filled with pine, oak, and rare endemic plants. Streams carve through the mountains, feeding valleys far below. This ecosystem is incredibly unique, separated from other forests by miles of desert. It's a sanctuary for species found nowhere else on Earth. Hiking through the Sky Island rainforest feels like entering a different world, where mist, green canopies, and biodiversity thrive against all odds. Baja isn't just desert and coastline, it hides islands of rain in the sky. So what happens when land tears itself apart, oceans reshape coastlines, deserts bloom, and forests rise where none should exist? Baja California is proof that Earth still breaks its own rules. If these facts change how you see the map, like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon, because there's still wild places, untold histories, and unbelievable landscapes left to explore. See you on the next journey.